All right, guys. How many times have you been working on something that you think is like the most mainstream thing ever and everything should be like right at your fingertips, right? You should have no problem finding parts, finding directions for stuff, videos on how to do it. And then as you get into stuff, you realize that you might have that one option or that 1 year or whatever the case may be. And you end up maybe following the wrong directions because they're close, or the wrong video, or making a part work, and then you end up in this room over here that you don't want to be in. It happens to me quite often, so I can't be alone. And we're going to talk about it, and hopefully I can help you out with this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. So you guys might remember, back when we had the Suburban, we had all sorts of issues getting the right parts, and, well, more than issues, we were always unsure, right? Because it was an 89, square body stopped in 87, except for the Suburbans and the big trucks, they went on to like 91 or 93 or whatever. We had an 89. It was a problem, right? It was a thing. So things ended up working out for the most part. Like, everything said it went till 87, but if you remember, we put the exhaust on and it was right. So I was like, okay, cool. And, a lot of things happen like that. Well, then we got this OBS, right? Which is the square body of the 90s and early 2000s. Back when you could buy a square body for $1,000. Now the OBS is, they're getting up there in price too, right? Because that's what happens over the years. Things get popular. But with things getting popular, it also means you can find parts real easy. You can find, a lot of info on the internet on how to fix it, how to work on it, little tricks, little whatever you may need. That is not always the case just because you bought one of the most popular trucks. Short bed, single cab, two-wheel drive, 94 Chevy. Should be the easiest thing in the world. Here's the problem. So this is the work truck, right? The WT, the white trash, whatever you want to call it. I personally love it. I don't like a whole lot of options, right? Even like in my Tundra, it's got every option I can think of and more, and I don't use half of them, right? It's just, that's not my style. So the fact that this thing doesn't have anything doesn't bother me. I would like air conditioning, Kevin, and we've talked about that. But other than that, I'm good. Well, this one doesn't have tilt wheel. Doesn't matter. All my other vehicles have it, and I never use it, so I don't care. I thought that would make everything easier. And it does until you screw something up. So we're working on this column, and we're changing out the turn signal switch. Pretty simple thing, right? As we're doing that, I'm following a video. I think it was A1 Auto. They do a great job. I'll link the video because they do a great job. I said do. Anyways, if you have a tilt column. As we're going through the video, I'm noticing a couple things, right? He'll say, hey, so you use your star tip here, and I got a regular bolt. Whatever. Take these 2 bolts out. I got 1. Okay, got it, right? But the step-by-step procedure was dead on. Everything was working out awesome. Until he said, pull out these 3 star tips and remove this collar. Kind of where the tilt does this, right? He had it all lined up, and well, mine doesn't do that. And I thought to myself, I don't need to do that. I can just pull it straight out. So I started doing that, and it hung up a little bit. And my initial thing was, don't take it more apart. Just mess with this till you get it out. But then I was like, well, maybe this is a step for a reason. As soon as I pulled those 4 bolts out, I had 4, not 3, things fell out the bottom. Lots of moving parts. I threw everything out of whack, and I've been messing with it for an obscene amount of time since then. I'm going to flip you guys around, show you what I did, where I'm at right now, and there's nothing on the internet, so hopefully this can help somebody. Well, I take that back. I did find a diagram in a forum from like 100 years ago. That got me to where I'm kind of at now, between that and Jay's advice, because he actually, he's messed with more columns than most people would like to admit. So I'll show you what's up. Hopefully this helps somebody. All right, guys. Let me show you where we're at. Clearly, we're not done yet. We're about where we were at the end of the last video. I'm trying to do this at the same time as I fix it. This way I can kind of help you guys out. There are 4 bolts that go in here. 2, 4. There's this little plate that goes inside it. You can see where the 4 bolts kind of go there, right? This goes in here, though, so that makes it nice and fun. All right, so you got that. The pin that comes out here to lock your wheel, I probably should have already put that in. I screwed that up now. We're learning something every time, guys. This right here, I should have never taken. As soon as I took these 4 bolts out and I pulled this out, everything fell. Not everything, a lot of stuff. So I didn't put this out one-handed, because I would like to show you. There you go. All right, let that hang by the wires, because that's a great idea. This here popped out. This guy right here, this here needs to be inside this. So that's why this should have been in first. I was trying to do this without taking this rod. This goes down the bottom, the top of the column. And that's what pulls your switch. When you turn the key, it actually, this moves. This is all one, okay? This will move your switch. It unlocks your steering wheel, and then activates your switch to start the car or truck, vehicle. Let's go with vehicle. All right. So you see right there is a gear that kind of, let's see here, it goes on this. Let me see if I can move this without turning. There you go. You see it actuates, right? That's, you see the key over here moving. They're all connected. When this came apart, it was bad, because I didn't want to pull it all the way off like this. I thought I could kind of just put everything back in there and put it back. I didn't realize how far out this piece came, because it came completely out, guys. So the pin wasn't in there. This was not in here. I had these gears on the wrong side, and I'm trying to mash it in. It's just not working. So we're not done yet. Obviously, I got to pull this back apart and install the pin, and then we'll get it back together. I'll use these screws that I just luckily had laying around from a toaster I installed back in '98. Yeah, I'm actually not even exaggerating. But, so they'll hold the top in here. That'll help me out there. That's what I did with it when I did have it close before, you saw in the last video. And holds everything in place. Because putting those bolts in, this goes like this here. And then the bolts are long enough. The regular bolts, guys, you see are right here. So you see the difference, right? So they gave me enough room to have this out with everything still lined up. So then I can go in and line up the rod for the, where's that at? Right there. For the high beam. And then I'll get this lined up and all that. A lot of moving parts. The key for me is to immobilize as many as possible in the right area. So the rod kind of holds itself once you get it up in there. That plate, that'll get in there with those 2 top bolts, so that lines everything else up. But the easiest thing to do is not take these frickin' 4 bolts out. Do not pull this thing off. If you don't have a tilt column, you don't need to do this. And that's what the biggest takeaway, because you could fit the thing through here. You see, it's everything's already straight lined up. I just got a little lazy and thought that The guy working on a different column might have known better. I was incorrect. All right, first off, don't act like you're not digging the landscaping pants, all right? They're comfortable. Leave me alone. Anyways, guys, I am super happy right now. We freaking nailed it. We got this in. We got the pin in. Let me show you a good angle here. That's my shaft. Steering shaft. Anyways, here we go. Turn the key. See? So this is the pin's all the way forward. It's locked. Steering wheel's locked. All that stuff. Turn it back. Start it. Doesn't sound that good. It's a 6-cylinder. But anyways, if you look down in there, I'm trying to get you in there. You see how that cam comes in there? I'm going to put a picture somewhere of how that's supposed to work. But that's it. So, we got it all together, guys. There's absolutely no way I was going to get that all to do that. Still installed right here. So, now we're going to pick it up, put it in there. We're going to have to clock it to get this rod, because this won't fit through with this out like this. That's got to go that way. And then when there's a little spot down there, then we can turn it and set it up so it's locked into the switch. But that's where we're at. We got it. Thank you to Jay. Thank you to the guy that posted the thing in 2022. And I'm going to use a lot of his pictures in this video. But that's what's up. All right, guys. Let's see how this is working out. We got working as it should. We guys, even this works. Check it out. The old accessorize. So guys, we nailed it. We got all that lined up. Once again, we used leftover hardware. Keep your hardware for everything, guys. You never know. So I was able to use these as like dowel pins, like I showed you before, to hold that plate in there while I got everything else lined up. We got the right there for the high beam. That rod is through there. We got the one for the top. We're going to drop down there now and put the switches back in and put all the rods where they belong. I don't know how else to say that. Anyways, for the starter actuator and for the high beams, once that's good down there and everything is legit, we'll slap this guy in. And we unplugged the wipers too, just because I wanted to get some more slack. Because I actually had to pull this all the way back out to get that rod just for the starter back in there. But maybe there's a better way to do that. That's how I did it. It worked. I'm happy. There you go. Guys, let me first tell you, that was like super hard. And I'm not even talking about the work. What I'm talking about is making this video without giving away next week's video. You've already got a sneak peek, but I'm going to try not to give you any more. You know? Well, actually, that being said, we're going to give you a little more. Because somebody's in this column before. I kind of thought that when I showed you like the parts that were missing on the turn signal switch. But, and I noticed this till afterwards, I'm putting it all together and I'm trying to see what's going on. And, well, there was, I noticed you guys might do this. Actually, I know some people do this that don't even make videos, like YouTube videos or whatever, but they video their stuff, taking it apart and stuff, so you know how to put it back together. A lot of pictures. People have been doing this for years. This is nothing new. I go back a lot and look at stuff because, well, I have the attention span of a goldfish sometimes, and it helps. So I was going back to make sure that everything kind of looked right, and I did a few times setting the pin and whatnot, but I caught this, and I wasn't even looking for it. It's really weird, but I caught this. Guys, look at the gap right here. Yo, I could fit my thumb in there. I mean, it's huge, right? It ain't there no more. This is what it looks like now. So something was off. I'm going to call this a blessing in disguise because obviously something was wrong. So if I didn't screw up, right, and fix it, and end up fixing this in the long run, what would happen, right? You never know. I mean, it's a butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. But I'm glad. I wasn't glad when this happened. I promise you that. In fact, I was just mad all the time for a couple of days. I spent a lot of hours out here, and I don't mind doing that. In fact, I love those nights. Me and old Wade were talking about like doing the Tundra. We were out here till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we loved it. But we were accomplishing stuff. I was just beating my head against the wall on this for a while. So it is what it is. You take the good with the bad. Throw in whatever analogy you want. But I am glad that I found that. And now I learned more about steering columns than I ever wanted to know. And I know Kevin had a recent thing. He said he was in his 3 or 4 times. I don't think it was the same issue. I think he's got tilt on it. Yeah, he's got tilt on his. So it's a little different. From what I've seen, there's a little more help with that. But that's also because, well, first it's more common, I think, and there's more moving parts, right? This is pretty straightforward unless you have no idea what you're doing, which is kind of where I was. Like, the only other time I was really messed with a column was on the Suburban, and we learned that as we went, and you guys saw me beat my head against the wall on that one. This was similar. Some parts a little better, some parts easier. The gear indicator on the Suburban was a nightmare, man. But in the end, we got it. I think we glued that thing back together 2 or 3 times, but finally, she's good to go. So, well, where are we now, right? Well, I'm not going to give that away. You got to watch on Friday for that. But hopefully you guys learned a little something. If there's anybody out there working on this column, hopefully this helps them out. But for me, I got a lot of work still to do on this thing. So I'm going to go do that. And thanks for watching, guys.